thousands of listeners, right?
Yeah,
for
that
dozens
went
of
from
thousands.
5 to 200.
All right, guys. Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. My name's Ben. We're here to talk about some practical shooting, guys. Oh, shit. I forgot to put our question up in the group chat, and that is my bad, so I'll read that when the time comes. Okay. Joining us today from the Canadian Northland of crepes and croissants. Say hello, Bird.
Yeah, what's up? It's more like fried chicken, I think.
Fried chicken and poutine.
Yeah, poutine. Yeah, we like poutine.
Amazing. All right, and Hoppy Cakes.
What's
Say
up?
hello. What's up is right. Okay, we got a new guy. If you're listening to the audio rip, you don't know that we have a new guy because you can't see anything. But the people watching on YouTube see this new guy. New guy, what's your name?
My name's Chris Van Wagner.
All
How's
right.
it going,
Hello.
everybody?
Hello, Chris.
Hi.
You are on here to be, I suppose, like not everybody on the show needs to be a heavy hitter, pro shooter guy. So we got a different kind of guy.
Yeah,
That would be you,
I'm
like
an
an A-class guy.
A-class guy.
So, like-
Trying to move up guy.
So like pretty good. You know.
Yeah, I'm decent. Yeah, I got a couple of sponsors. Nothing major. Not knocking it out of the park.
Sponsorship buys you no status with this crowd.
No.
We don't give a fuck.
It gives me a discount though, and that's what I'm excited about. I can shoot more.
Oh Christ! A discount is not a sponsorship, my man. Jesus. Oh, we're gonna have some fun discussions. This is what I mean. We're broadening our horizons, folks. All right. Who shall go first with our topic du jour? You guys brought me topics. I think either it's going to be this week in shooting. You got triggered by something you want to talk about. You want to show and tell about a product or a thing that you have that you like, that you hate, whatever. Hopkins, you're up first. What is it? What are you talking about?
I just got done competing in a shoot-off, so like a man versus man.
This week in shooting, you did a shoot-off?
Yes.
Okay, those are kind of gone the way of the dodo bird in USPSA, haven't they?
I haven't really heard of too many of them. I
That
know
used to be a thing at like every nationals until they stopped it being a thing.
It's super fun, and I think it's worth it. Like I wish
Worth
more
what?
matches would do it. Huh?
What is it worth? I mean, because it's not
It's
nothing in
worth
terms of effort.
No, it takes some effort, and it takes probably like a 4-hour block to do it to get like 50 to 100
And
shooters
you
through.
have to have everyone there at the same time, right?
Yes, exactly.
You can't like shoot on Friday and fuck off, and then they have to shoot off on Sunday.
Yeah, you have to be there. It's a mandatory attendance. You can't like do a postal shoot-off match or nothing like that.
Oh, but it's difficult to attend the shoot-off match if you're not there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I just like it. I think I wish we would see more. The only problem I see is it takes so much time. You actually have to add a day to the match.
Yeah, no,
So
you
like
do. You're
the
adding a
main
date
match
to the
was
match.
done on Saturday. They could have had the awards and everything on Saturday night and been done on Sunday. But they like the shoot off. All the shooters like the shoot off, so they have it on Sunday. Then they do the awards. But it was interesting this year. They had PCC along with the handgun shooters.
Do they have
how
to
do
you do
mandatory
that?
reload?
Everybody has a mandatory reload.
Wait. They had PCC with handgun
Yep.
in a
They had an
shoot-off?
extra plate added.
Yeah.
Did that make it fair?
No.
No,
I
PCC
wouldn't
guy
think so.
won.
Yeah.
Well, no, just
PCC
I
guy
mean-
won the shoot off.
Yeah, okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't fair. But in your opinion, like Hopkins, you're a pretty astute observer. Like one plate was not enough to add
No.
to even it
So
out.
no, not at all. So
How many would they have
what
to
would-
add? Do you reckon?
I think they need 2, and they need to change how they start.
Or
So they were starting
more.
just gun on belt, pointing at the targets.
Yeah,
So 2 hands on the gun, basically.
yeah.
Yeah. So like the final round, I believe the PCC shooter shot 4 plates before the open shooter he's shooting against shot 1.
Wait, it was just all the divisions were together
Yeah.
in a shoot-off? How is that fun?
Yeah. It's fine. You just handicap it.
But they fucked up the handicapping, it sounds like.
Well, it's the first year anybody's tried it. They did pretty good,
I've heard about this sort of stuff before.
but not with PCC.
No, not with PCC.
That was the only oddball. That's the only unfair thing, or not like figured out yet.
No, you could say unfair.
Okay, well, yeah, unfair.
Oh,
But
I
it's
mean,
first year, so
that's interesting. Like, I'm not sure that I would show up to that, but it's
why?
because like if they show up and they fucked up the handicapping, like I'm just gonna be like irritated the whole time.
Well, I mean,
Like it doesn't matter which way they fuck it up. Like if you're a production retard, we're taking away 6 plates. You only got to shoot 1 plate, and the PCC guy shoots 20. I'd be like, this is not going to be interesting at all.
To be fair, the PCC guy that beat the open dude off the draw with 4 plates, the open dude was like 100 years old. So,
well,
yeah, I
but
mean, his draw isn't the quickest thing
but
ever.
still,
He'd slayed all comers up to that point, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
he got to
handily.
the final round. Yeah,
Whatever. That sounds okay. That's very interesting. I should not be so critical. It's an interesting idea.
I think if they adjust the start position of them, which the person running it already said he would do that, it makes sense.
Yes.
I think you can maybe one is enough added, maybe not.
Well, I guess
But
I
I think
should go ahead with the obvious question. Be like, why wouldn't each division just get its own shoot off?
Not enough people.
Huh.
Well,
And the weights handicap, Chris, you've shot it before, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen it shot probably at least a couple times.
Yeah, I've seen it shot for the last 5 years.
Yeah, so like the handicap system is pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. It's just PCC was. I think they did it last year too, PCC, but there was only like 2, and this
Yeah.
year, I mean, what was there, 10 or something? There was a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get a good guy that guy that knew how to pop his PCC up to his shoulder, like he was gaming that too. I mean, I've never seen anybody get their gun up that quick and be shooting. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The handicap it by class also been, right?
I've heard. Is it 1 plate per class? Is the difference?
1 plate per class. Open gets another extra plate, and PCC gets another plate on top of open.
Yeah, I've heard about systems like this. I don't
So
think it's the only place that does it. That's
GM
interesting.
versus GM versus GM would be 12, 11, and 10.
Okay.
It's pretty good. You got to change a PCC start is all. So it's kind of like a trigger warning thing also.
Hey, you know what? And it's just for funsies. So.
Oh, you put money in and you got paid.
I think that dude won $420 or something, didn't he? It was a lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, then I'm
it's
turning up with
$10.
the PCC and slaying ass.
Yeah, it's $10 and they pay back 100%. So
the shoot-offs are fun. I mean, they do it at World Shoot
yeah,
for each divisions. I've done it a couple of times. It was optics versus optics and iron sights versus iron sights. So like guys against production, no matter what, but the optic guys were together, and it just there's a thrill. Like you don't feel like there's so much more pressure on a shoot off than when you're actually shooting a stage. I think it's just, I don't know, it's fun once in a while.
it's a different kind of pressure too
Yeah.
than shooting a regular stage. Like getting up and going against somebody, like another person there.
Yeah, you
It
kind of
puts a
see
different level of pressure on you.
yeah,
for
you
sure.
kind of see what is going on like beside you, and you don't want to fuck up that reload.
Yep.
It's directly comparing penis size, right? Basically.
I guess.
you know what I'm saying. Like you're up there putting your ego and your skill on the line against somebody else right next to them. So, if you screw up, you're done.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, interesting. All right, let's move on. So, all right, let's go to Mr. Chris. What do you got?
All right, so I have a trigger warning, and
What triggers you, man?
So, same match as Hopkins is talking about, but range etiquette, where this
You
guy's
don't have
obviously.
to tell. All right, just to be real, like you don't have to tell me what fucking match. Like, if you're going to say stuff that angers you, that pisses people off, like it might be wise to not identify into specific individuals or matches that this might have taken place at, and just talk about a behavior or a thing that you
I was gonna toss out his name, so if he's listening, he knew. I'm kidding. I'm not. No. So any match
Jesus
really,
Christ.
but range etiquette. Like the guy would go up and shoot. He's in flip flops. He's not paying attention. He's not listening to the stage being read. He gets up there. It takes extra time for him to figure out what the fuck he's doing. And then he shoots and he just disappears. Like I found him 2 stages down after we shot 1 stage, sitting and smoking a cigarette and like chilling while we're all busting our ass. And it's okay. Like you got to reload and you're getting ready to shoot and you're not going to obviously help paste and reset the stage and stuff. But when you just stand there the whole day, it gets pretty old. So that's really what triggers me is like help out a little bit. If you're going to be out there, it's only fair. We're all out there baking in the sun, trying to get through this, 10-hour match so we can get our cool plaque and go home.
Okay. So you want to make sure people help. So what is the proper corrective action for this type of thing?
I don't know, call the guy out by his name on your show. No, I don't know. I mean, we tried talking to him and just like, my one buddy handed him a roll of tape, like, come on, let's go help. And it worked for like 1 shooter and then he just started disappearing again. So,
Ooh, that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you correct that. I think, I don't know if the guy was just lazy or what, but.
Yeah, that's pretty egregious.
He's just going to get bad reputation. And for us, we have similar stuff like that. We have to volunteer like outside of our squad
you
as
have
well.
to volunteer?
Yeah, outside of our squad. We voluntold? What?
Yeah.
Anyways. But so yeah, and we have to patch and help and RO or whatever, and scorekeeper. And some people, if you just leave without helping, you just get 0 score. Like so you don't get a score.
Damn, that's harsh. I like it though.
I mean,
Kind of awesome, actually.
I mean, though, I think the way that you fix the etiquette thing is like, to me, if I take a new person to a match, I explain the etiquette to them right along with the rules. You know what I mean? Or it's like, this is what we're expected to be doing, like as far as helping other people when you're walking through, when it's not your time to walk through, when you're allowed to be over there, when you should be over here helping. Like you explain all the etiquette stuff to them, because that, to me, that's the type of stuff, like if I don't know a dude and he's not following these rules of etiquette, like being rude, it's like I usually assume like nobody told him, because that's always, if I don't know the guy, like I'm at somebody else's club, I don't know the dude, that's always going to be an awkward interaction. You know what I mean? Always. And as you guys know me, I don't like awkward interactions. I try to avoid that.
I kind of thought that was the thing too, until it was explained to him and he was handed a roll of tape and like, that's hey, come on, let's help.
That's fucking.
And then he
crazy.
Disappeared.
That's like next level. I've never seen that. I don't think.
I was highly pissed off, but I mean, if you don't want to ask for help at the match because you don't know or you're shy or whatever. On my podcast, I actually have an episode that explains range etiquette, so you can go listen to it for free and learn what you're supposed to do and not even look like a D-bag at a match asking somebody how to pace targets.
Well, by the time you're at a major match, it is my expectation, like if I'm there on your squad, it would be my expectation that you know that stuff. Like you should not be surprised by when you're supposed to be pasting, kind of like when it's cool to walk to the next stage. I mean, even stuff like we're all shaking the range officer's hand, or at least you say, hey, thanks, and then everybody walks off to the stage. Like all that, sort of stuff that you take for granted if you've been doing it for a while, but like that's the stuff that I guess you need to explain to people. But I would expect that that if you're at a major match, you should know all that stuff.
I don't know if you're intelligent enough to observe what the other shooters are doing.
People have that social intelligence.
Most of the day, you think you'd pick up on it a little bit, like, oh, those guys are busting their ass. No, I'm just gonna sit here. I don't know.
Or it's like, oh, I see like everybody else is pasting, but I'm not. This
Correct.
Seems like something I should, a situation that I'd want to address. Okay.
I can't.
I mean, in comparison,
I
brought 2 new shooters to this match, right? Each one had shot a super classifier, and they were both out there busting their ass all day. And I didn't have to tell them to do it. They figured it out on their. And like you said, maybe he just doesn't understand it. But
not everybody understands basic social shit. You know what I mean?
How to get dressed in the morning, whatever.
That's why we have Walmart. That's where they shop. That's where I shop. I mean, because it's like Target but with no rules. You know, it's great.
It's an adventure every time.
Yeah. All right. Good. All right. I want to go next. I have a show and tell that's sort of an interesting thing. Obviously, if you're listening to the audio rip, you can't see the show, but I can tell. All right. So I'm holding up in front of my camera a banner with some targets on it. It is, I don't know, a foot wide and 5 feet long. It's like the type of banner that you'd use for outdoor advertising. I don't know, vinyl. I think it's vinyl. I just got,
it's like a sponsor banner on the stages.
Yeah, it's printed on the same sort of material, and it's got like a grass it looks like a shooting bay background. It's just like a picture almost of a shooting bay with some targets on it that are organized on there. So I will explain what this is. A friend of mine, a guy who's organized classes for me, a good guy. He has a company called Steel. I want to make sure I get the website exactly right. So I have to make a little bit of clickety-clack here. Steelshootbanners.com. Okay, so he's been making these banners for a few years for Steel Challenge, because if you put the targets on the banner and then get yourself at the correct distance from the banner, you can really quickly set up the same thing every time for dry fire, and then you can quickly change to another banner. That's kind of the idea.
It's
you
like,
guys follow what I'm saying? So you could like have all the Steel Challenge stages.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's what it is. So I mean, they're a little bit expensive. I mean, I don't know. It's depending on the banner that you get. It's let me click on here for the prices. So I don't want to get this wrong. It's like if you buy just one, it's $50. If you buy more, they start coming substantially cheaper or free shipping or something
honestly
like that.
not that bad, because
I don't
what
think
it is.
I mean, I don't
think
think
about how
that's
much
hella
targets
money.
are.
I'm with you. I get it. It's not crazy. It's not crazy money, but it's not cheap either. Like, this can be accomplished for less money. You know what I mean, Matt? Of course. But it's
it
nice.
doesn't need to be, though.
No, it doesn't. It looks nice, and you can quickly change from one thing to the other, and it's going to be pretty consistent each time, of course. I've been to a dude's house. I was in Australia and stayed at a guy's house, and he had all the whole Steel banner set, and just his dry fire area was like marked off. Stand here or here. There's only two distances you stand at, and you could change to which banner you want to use, and you stand at the correct distance for that banner, and you can practice all the Steel Challenge dry. Which, I mean, it's a pretty slick setup for dry fire. I'm a dry fire nerd, so I appreciate that sort of stuff. So he's been making these, and it's an interesting product, I think. But this year, he decided to start making sort of USPSA stuff with USPSA targets. And he's like, hey, do you want me to do accelerator? So I'm quite honored that he would make a banner of like one of my drills, you know. It's not anyone else's drill. This one's mine. So he made the banner for that. He made a banner for a lot of other drills. So he sent me a banner, and I think it's pretty cool. I'm not financially tied into this deal, so if you order one of these, I won't get paid on it. If you hate me and are boycotting me and just listening to this show because you don't like me, you're safe to order these. I don't get a kickback or anything, so it's all good. Yeah, so an interesting product for sure. Definitely not for everybody, but something to consider if you're in the market for vinyl banners that you can fake shoot at, for sure.
Sure, looks good.
No, you guys have surprisingly few questions about this.
I mean, I've seen them before.
Yeah.
I think it's probably best for Steel Challenge. It's going to be kind of hard for USPSA targets.
Well, hold on. Before you get that, I mean, I gotta do some of the clickety clack.
The accelerator he did is only for you, actually. So.
No, it's on the site.
Okay.
So he's got accelerator. He's got El Presidente. He's got other USPSA classifiers. He's got different sort of random partials drill. He's got different drills with plate racks, with this or that. Yeah, it's all on his site. There's a bunch of options, so you can find something interesting.
I guess some classifier could be interesting. It's just that most of the thing you can just put a little dry fire on the wall and just dry fire target and just switch them up. As the banner, it you have to buy a new banner. So steel challenge makes total sense. I think that's awesome since the stages they never change. But for classifier, yeah, sure. Some classifiers are pretty easy to set up and or just you just have the banner there.
Well, I mean, you could buy a few different banners of sort of very different sort of target configurations and just change them around and drive around them. I think the advantage is you just get a sort of a nice looking, realistic-ish setting for your dry fire. It's kind of like
Yeah.
paper targets on the wall are fine.
It's
The
cleaner.
the
You
yeah
take
the,
it off a lot
the
easier.
laser cut dry fire targets are better, and I think these are better, but they're more money. So you know, do with what you will with your money, of course. All right,
Yeah.
what do we got next?
Oh,
I was
well, yeah, I got a trigger warning this week.
You've been triggered by something, sir?
Yeah,
You're an
it's
angry
just
man?
it's some sort of in between the range etiquette and what Matt Hopkins usually say about walkthroughs. So so actually it's just overall when I'm at a match and we're doing the walkthrough, so everybody walks the stage, everybody ideally exit from the back of the stage, and then you get the shooter on deck while everyone is patching. Everyone should be patching, and you should be the guy on deck walking the stages before you actually shoot it. And then you got that guy standing in the middle of the target array, and he's blocking you from walking the stage one more time. And I never actually tell them to get out,
You're
but
such a nice guy.
yeah, I just try to be polite, but inside of me, I'm boiling inside. So it's just like it's like, come on, man. You're not even in the hole. You should be patching. What the hell are you doing there? It's just like this is my last chance to check the stage.
I
And
think we
yeah,
talked about this. This is, I mean, that's even a bigger deal in IPSC. Well, not in Canada, I guess.
it happens in Canada, but
No, no,
there
no.
you
I
go.
mean, I'm
Oh,
sure the incident happens in Canada, but I mean, Canada does not have the thing about, well, I've never been in a situation in Canada where they have the thing about not being able to inspect the stages. Do you guys give a shit about
oh,
that in your
no,
province?
no, it's fine. It's pretty well balanced. They don't care.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing where people in the U.S. think that it's an IPSC rule that you're not allowed to look at the stages early.
No,
The
it's.
rule reads the same in USPSA and IPSC, I think. I think the verbiage is exactly the same, unless I'm
I think.
mistaken.
I think it's just at least in Canada. I think it's just the RO's decision. So
It's the
if you
same in
ask
US.
nice,
It's the
yeah.
same
So
in
if
the
you
US.
ask nicely, they'll let you walk the stage. I mean, they at least let you check it out.
Anyway, that's a tangent, but like the point is these
Yeah.
fuckers don't know etiquette, right?
Yeah, no. They're just, or sometimes, like you said before, like they're just
They don't,
new and they don't know, and
Yeah, that's part of taking a new shooter out. Like Chris
yeah.
says, like he brings his, or no, Ben, you said you talked to them about etiquette also, right?
when I take a new shooter, like I think you learn the etiquette just like you learn the rules.
Yeah.
Like somebody has to tell you. Before I shot my first match, one of the most valuable things I did was do like this new shooter clinic, and the safety rules were explained, the basics of scoring and etiquette was all explained. Where it's like, hey, this is pasting, and this is kind of how this flows. Where it's like you're not expected to do it every time. I'll also tell people if they're pasting when they're on deck, I'll be like, no, 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 yeah, you don't have to do that right now. You probably don't want to do that right now. You can just go, get yourself ready. Just explain kind of what the expectations for the people around you are, because a lot of times, especially if people are not very observant, they may not understand. Yes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
just,
agree with Alex there too. Like it's your last chance to visualize it before you're getting ready to turn it on and go, and some dumbass is standing in front of you. Maybe even like I hate it when they walk back and forth especially like right in the spot. Like if you're gonna do it, just move on. You don't stand there and go back and forth 5 times.
And that's not only applies to, like, people will say, oh well, you're a good shooter, you don't really need that walkthrough or whatever, or
They're
whatever.
gonna have an
You're a
argument
bit.
with you about it.
What?
No. Oh no. I'm just saying
Fuck
people
outta
will
here.
listen and think like, well, like, why are you so bitching about it? Like you're. But anyways, I mean, it's just not fair. And the same thing goes for one of the good shooter is checking the stage while it's a new shooter that's on deck, and like you should leave the space to the new shooter. It goes both ways. So I'm not being like a princess here. I'm just
No, it's just general etiquette for every shooter, right? It doesn't matter what level you are. We all are doing the same basic things. It's just some people are really good at it and other people aren't, but we all want to have the same opportunity.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've been told once, like someone told me when I started, when that person's on deck, you get out. And that person told me once, and now I get out.
Yeah, it's the same
True
as
though.
they're not
Yeah.
expected to be pasting because that's their time to do the thing, to do the walkthrough. So that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on to a shooting question. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Good.
All right. I have a handgun question. I've been shooting Glocks in law enforcement capacity for 23 years. I love how anybody in a job like this, like, they know to the day, like, when they retire. It's always like exactly like how many years they've been working and how many years they have left.
They actually get an envelope, a letter saying like your retirement should be in 2004, like something like, it's crazy.
Words, numbers, yes. Okay. I recently made GM in production using a close to stock Glock 34. I understand that sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but I also understand that it's not the gear, but the shooter. My question is, how would I know if the Glock platform is holding me back? I feel that I'm waiting for the gun with Gen 4 and Gen 5s, so I use a Gen 3 and I don't perceive any dwell time. I recently shot against Hopkins and Henning at the Rocky Mountain 300. And I was within half a second of their stage times on three of the 5. There's only 5 stages?
5 stages, 60
but
rounds each.
Oh, Jesus. However, my
Yeah.
accuracy was not as good because I sometimes did not have the patience to wait for the sights to settle. Obviously, training will help with the patience, and the gun itself will not just speed me up when not shooting. But of course, there's something that I just don't know. After a long courtship, would a CZ or Tanfo be more competitive, or should I just stay with what I know? Ooh. All right, so guy who's a very good shooter, I would say. Is it time for a Shadow 2, Matt? Is that what he needs to beat you?
I don't think it's a gun, honestly.
No. Says the guy with the Shadow 2.
Well,
You son of a bitch.
do you really think guns are holding people back, though? I mean, that's the thing.
No.
I mean, you ran a goddamn Beretta. Didn't you
That's
win a
just-
national title with one?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you're right. No, when you put it like that, no.
I mean, most people would consider that not a competitive gun, right? If you ask people
yeah,
what they think of the,
I mean, they didn't usually say it to me like that.
well,
Usually they called me a word that started with an F and rhymed with maggot. It wasn't very nice. They were not nice to me. They were very rude.
well, and you ran that to how many national titles?
I got
2?
I got a couple of that. Yeah.
2,
Just saying.
yeah. So that proves the gun really doesn't matter.
I don't know if it proves the gun doesn't matter, but because I'll be honest, the guns matter, but it's like here if he feels like the Glock is slow, like he's waiting on it or something, I don't know that a CZ is going to change that, right?
He's waiting on the Glock to like return into battery.
I don't know. Like, you heard the question.
I didn't read it though.
Okay, I will read the relevant bit.
Well, he says he's not visual patient enough.
Yes,
It has nothing to do with the cycling and the gun.
his accuracy
Yeah.
was not as good because he didn't have the patience for the sights to settle, and he feels like he's waiting on the gun with the Gen 4 and Gen 5 Glocks, so he uses a Gen 3 and doesn't perceive any dwell time. Like, I didn't read anything in there that says he needs a different gun. How far away were the targets?
Not
Not
super
far.
difficult.
Huh?
Not difficult. I had 11 Charlies
What do you mean 11 Charlies?
for the whole match.
Okay, so I'm not. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's serious.
11 Charlies in 300 rounds. Like, these were not far
309
targets.
rounds.
Yeah, I don't see how a different gun is going to help. Like, to be honest, what I tell, like, here's the way it usually works. If a guy who's like a plastic gun shooter picks up a CZ or a Tanfo, especially one that's been worked on, it's super
It's
nice.
trigger, isn't it?
Yeah, they pick that up and like you just picking up off a table, like casually at a range. Not in a match. They pick it up and they shoot it a little bit. Kind of slow fire, and it's like it is easy to hit little things far away, right? With those guns,
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. But a lot of times what they don't appreciate is the manipulations are a lot harder. In many, like you got to learn the double action trigger. The reloads are typically tougher with the metal frame guns for whatever reason. I mean, Glocks are very easy to draw and reload fast. So he'd have to do a lot of work on that if he switched guns. And I'm just not sure it'd matter that much.
I think I know the guy actually that sent you the letter. I'm not going to say who it is.
He doxed the fuck out of himself with this.
But
yeah.
I know how he shoots a Glock, and I mean he's fucking good with that Glock. Like I don't think he needs a new gun. I don't think that, because I shoot a Shadow too, and I went from the plastic gun to the metal gun route, and everything you say is true. Yeah, it's easier to hit little stuff far away, but the reloads and stuff and double action until you get used to it are a horror. Like it took me forever to figure that out in dry fire before I was proficient at it. So I don't think he needs a new gun. I think he mentioned what the issue was, and we've had conversations on it personally at matches, and that's visual patience. It's when you break the shot. Is it where are you seeing what you need to see? I don't think it's the gun for him, because he can run that thing very well.
Okay. Well, I mean, just this the way it's worded. No, I don't think the guns like people are competitive with pretty much any type of thing.
Yeah.
Like there are
for
guys
sure.
that shoot plastic guns really well, guys that shoot metal guns. Shit, like we had a Glock 1 limited division for USPSA last year. Like, who saw that coming? I mean,
Yeah, but
it's very doable.
the Glock was heavy as shit.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, he modified it, yeah, but he was shooting man ammo, not this pussy stuff that we shoot in production.
There's
You know
still
what I
no
mean?
way
But
it
yeah.
could be even close to what a metal frame 2011 weighs. Those things are tanks compared to the Shadow 2 and Stock 2.
Yeah, well, like I think the deal is if the guy can do it, he's going to figure out a way to do it with the gun he's got. Right? I've said this before. Like I believe pretty firmly that the Tanfolios I'm shooting now are better for this than the Berettas I was shooting. But I could not plot my performance on a graph, and you would not see where I switch guns. You know what I mean? If I just plot my shooting ability over time, there wouldn't be like a blip where I changed guns. It's not on there. So.
Well, I mean, how would you even measure that, right? Like, I mean, you're obviously practicing
know.
and getting better.
Hit factor, in matches.
But is that practice, or is that your gun? Like, how do you differentiate?
You'd have to have some standardized set of drills.
I did a lot of tracking with drills. Well, of course,
Okay.
when I started, it was like early on when I changed guns, it was like I had to work harder to like nail the reloads and the draws, but it was all very doable. I just had to work at it. And now, but at the time in matches, like you couldn't really see a difference. Like I changed. I think I remember changing guns.
I remember.
I had like 7 days.
Did It was
then
like a week before the Area 5 match.
Yeah, I changed guns a week before I shot an area match, and I went and shot the area match, and it was the same.
Yeah.
Right, Matt?
I think you were maybe affected a little bit by it.
Yeah. Oh, after 7
but
days.
It didn't affect the outcome.
No, it did not affect the outcome. That was interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So learn to shoot the gun you've got. That's the advice I give most people. So like, oh, do I need a different gun? The one exception is it is true. I think if people buy a new gun, they fuck around with it and they practice, and that can be the catalyst to them getting better. But I don't think it's the reason. All right. Anybody have anything to add to that?
Oh.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me, especially Chris. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes. And so, hey, if people like you and they want to listen to your podcast, how would they accomplish that?
I got a website. It's leadslingersradio.com. You can also find it on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. There you go. So thank you for coming on, Chris. I imagine we'll be seeing more of you. Verdot and Matt, I thank you, I guess, for being here.
No problem.
You guys, I expect you guys are more obligated, I feel. Right? Because you're professional shooters, so you have to go on podcasts and shit. It's part of the job. All right.
No, not really, but yeah. No, I do it for you, man.
You do it for me. You're a nice guy. I've always liked you. All right. Listeners, if you have a question you'd like the answer to, go to benstegger.com. Send me your question. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be happy to answer your question. All right.